Okay, there's three of us here today. We're all from the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at the University of Strathclyde. We are all Scottish, so we'll do our best to speak in a way that other people can understand. So we have been running an apprenticeship program, and we are nearly at the end of the apprenticeship program, and first running of the apprenticeship program, which is 4 years long. So I wanted to come and talk today about some of the experiences we have. We are based in the city centre in Glasgow, and I want to include this slide to show you that it doesn't look exactly like Florence, but it is quite a pleasant place to be. And these are some of our newest buildings, some retrofitted buildings that have just been completed. The contact details are there on the slides, but you can't see them because the formatting, so I apologise for that mistake. With me today I have Sarah Lavery, who's a teaching fellow. I'm a teaching fellow myself. And Lyon is an experiential learning expert that I think we've been working with for a long time, but has recently joined our department in a more official role as a learning advisor to the apprentices. So our apprenticeship is quite successful in that companies seem to like it, and students seem to like it. We've got around 98 apprentices. The number fluctuates by 1 or 2 throughout the terms. And our first cohort will graduate this year, which is very exciting for us. It's an accredited program, so that means we have to cover specific things for students to gain their professional competencies, which is difficult in one sense because we want them to have these transdisciplinary opportunities, but we also have limited time with them, so we have to teach them the core subjects. Part of the program is those core academic subjects. Another part of the program is work-based learning, and that's what makes it the apprenticeship. So the experiential strand that runs through all 4 years is the part that is probably the most significant in terms of the learning that they do that they then take to their workplace and vice versa. So there's a real exchange of knowledge between their employment and the students, our staff, and so it's quite a collaborative approach to a degree, because a large part of their learning is built on this experiential style of learning. We do a lot of online learning, so a lot of e-learning. We've spent a lot of time and money building these resources professionally for e-learning. Our delivery model means they only attend campus once per month. The rest of the time is structured online learning, so there are challenges and opportunities with that. Fortunately, they do behave as a cohort, so they are fellow travellers to some extent. They do enjoy collaborating with each other. They have a subculture on WhatsApp and TikTok and all the rest of them, where they share any solutions they hand out to one student. The key thing is that at the Strathclyde approach, the work-based learning is naturally occurring in the workplace. We don't give them scenarios to work on that are outside their work. We ask them to tell them, what are you doing at work? What are you learning in the workplace? And we then help them to understand the professional competencies that they're covering in their workplace. That's very new to the university, it's quite a challenge. But we've been employing a team of work-based learning advisors, and Dale is now one of them, to support them throughout that. So they get mentored and supported through understanding what they are learning in the workplace. They record an e-portfolio, and part of that is self-reflection. I won't dwell on this slide for too long, but I've covered everything on there already. But reflection is an important part of it. And what we want them to do with reflection is, of course, not just list what they've done, list the activities that they're doing in the workplace. We want them to reflect on how that helps them develop. And that's the challenge that we've got, is to try and make them understand what they're learning in the workplace, not just I'm now running a site, so I'm a fantastic engineer. It's what have you learned to get to that point. And here is an example of a reflective account. I've used this one because there is a bit of evidence there of just listing what they've been up to, but there is a little bit about what the skills they've learned and how they're learning communication and managing people and that kind of thing. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say, is just introduce it's an apprenticeship program, and reflecting on the learning is an important part of that, the learning. I'm going to hand over to Dale to talk about transversal skills.
Thank you.
So as Stuart mentioned there, we're looking at the work-based learning as an overriding education process, as well as in the full-time job as well. And normally when we're looking at the transversal skills, we realise it's about employability. The transversal skills, employability skills, 21st century skills, there's many different names for them. Within the global community, we're looking at the young people just grasping so much more from their education. What was really good in some of the previous talks before our one was this idea of peer-to-peer reviewing and things like that. It's really important to get this reflection coming in. And what we've seen these transversal skills, attitude, personal, social qualities, knowledge, skills, and language, we start seeing that these can all be tied up much more into the resilience element, which we know now post-COVID that young people are struggling with. I think most people are struggling with that resilience element. But what we have found is the young people from secondary schools coming into further education, into higher education, this resilience is really important. With the work-based learning that we're working with, they're already in employment. It's about sustaining that employability now as well. It's stay in the job they're working, and it's a very hard task what they're working for. Again, this just goes outlining all the different transversal skills that we look at. There's so many of them out there, but the ones that we're looking in just now is what the work-based learning helps deliver with the actual resilience of the individual. And that's what's made the Strathclyde approach very special. We're bringing the work-based learning advisors to work with the students to help them capture in the evidence of what their learning as they go along. I was involved in a K2 project a number of years ago, peak COVID, called PEACS, Promoting Excellence in Employability and Transversal Skills. Fantastic project, but from the stakeholders interviews there, we found employers find all the transversal skills very important and all equally important as well. But that really means employers generally don't have a clue what the transversal skills are. They just want them, and they want us to create students that have got them. And it's important that we help educate them as well at the same time. The Erasmus Impact Study that came out in 2014, 92% of their employers are looking for these transferable skills. So already we know that the young people that are going through education are looking for employability, or in our case, with employability are already in employment, have got to have more of these transferable skills, have to understand how to make use of them. And again, how we do that is through training, role-play, discussions, theory, videos, reflection, assignments, things that we're doing within the work-based learning programme. And again, it's quite good to hear some of these things ever, the peer-to-peer reviews, trying to create that journey. And I think it's understanding that education now is a journey. We take them one, and we're going to be with them on that journey. So I'll pass on to Sarah now to finish that off.
Thank you, Dale. So I'm just going to talk through some of the findings. We looked at student work, so we actually examined the reflective accounts. So just to start off with, just wanted to kind of talk about resilience. It is something that's quite hard to pinpoint, and just map it. So kind of before setting out on the journey of looking at the reflective accounts, we're looking and thinking about what areas in civil engineering can students build up resilience. So this list is not this list, but many more. These are the key ones, and we felt problem solving, leadership and planning activities, adaptability, self-motivation, and reflection itself. And we feel as a university that it can be a really good place for students to develop their resilience, and that's kind of what we're trying to achieve. And also in the actual apprenticeship degree, this resilience is already being created, not just in the university, but also in the workplace. So what we are trying to get from our research is actually how can we take what we're doing on the apprenticeship degree and transfer that to our full-time undergraduate students. These full-time students who are not getting a formal set of work experience. So just to start off before I go on and talk about the analysis of the reflective accounts, I think in civil engineering, most walks of life, that just going through the experience without really stopping to actually reflect so much learning about yourself and about the world around you and the lost. So just wanted to kind of the value of this reflection. So to actually analyse the student work, we used mathematical analysis. So we took 8 reflective accounts from across the 4 cohorts. So Stewart said we've got a complete set of 4 cohorts for the graduate apprenticeship degree. and we took 2 sets of accounts from each year. So I had eight pieces of work to go through, and we went through it and come up with codes, and then we came up with some themes linked to transversal skills. So I'll just go over the key findings with you just now. So we looked through the work and we saw that there was quite a broad range of skills developed, and some examples in the earliest years of the apprenticeship where that initial building of that knowledge base and building up the self-motivation, self-confidence in the earlier years. And something that was a bit unexpected that came up was the apprentices were identifying this, and because they were working in their civil engineering job, they were getting a lot of autonomy and independence, which is quite linked to resilience. And that was something that developed, that was highlighted through the higher years as well. So it's something that I think students are really getting to grips with in the apprenticeship degree. Also, there was a little bit of leadership as well, mentioned in some of the later years. So we were seeing our students in that mode of learning gain quite a lot of responsibility and resilience. So in the accounts, we noticed that students weren't always reflecting fully on the skills they developed. And we could see that there were skills being developed that showed that resilience and adaptability were being built up. But in the accounts, it just wasn't that full level of reflection. So we could see that they were building it, and we identified that because our students maybe we knew they were developing skills, but we felt we just maybe weren't 100% sure how to fully reflect on it. So the setup that we have at the university with the work-based learning advisors, we feel that we really want to focus on that, getting the one-to-one support from the work-based learning advisors, and actually getting, basically coaching students on how to really drill down and identify these really important skills. And one thing, if we're looking across to our full-time programme, that's the kind of gap that we identified there, is that our full-time programme students could really benefit from mentoring as well, because of the real success that we have on the apprenticeship programme. So a couple of other findings here. The graduate apprenticeship, the apprenticeship learning opportunities, the rich learning opportunities in the workplace, is really that's difficult to replicate in a full-time undergraduate degree. So we do have students studying full-time who go and seek work experience, but it's not essential on the course that you have to do work experience. So we're feeling that we need to find a way that for the full-time students, there's a way to replicate this learning opportunity. And just an example of a really strong transversal skill that we feel that the apprenticeship students develop is the leadership. And we feel that that's something that we really will benefit to find a way to replicate scenarios in for the full-time students for this particular skill. Because when they go out to the workplace, they'll be a bit confident and ready to take on responsibility. So we do have some opportunities of group work, design projects in our undergrad, but a bit more needs to be done. So the next step in this in our journey together is that we feel that this role that we identified on the apprenticeship degree with the work-based learning advisor and this coaching and mentorship role definitely has been fully optimised to help our students identify that layer of hidden learning and really reflect better on the really broad range of the transversal skills that they're developing in the workplace. We would also like to take this across to our undergraduate full-time degree and consider how setting up a really formal mentoring scheme could work for them, just because of the success we've saw with the apprenticeships. And finally, for the full-time degree, we're really need to consider how we can simulate learning environments and to provide our full-time students with authentic civil engineering projects they can work on. And we do have a lot of extracurricular initiatives. Deals involve Dale runs quite a few actually, if you've got questions about this Edges construction area, we get the students out to like a real kind of construction site, and then the students get to actually physically build a real life project that's about power, the bridge, there's different real life simulation projects. So I think implementing these type of simulated learning environments is really important. So that's for today, and I'm looking forward to questions.
Thank you. Yes. Question. Yes, please.
Question today. Mary from California. So I have a couple of questions. Like the cohort model that you use, that the students meet in campus one time a month, and then they go out, they do the apprenticeship work, and then they come back and you talk to them about the learning that they had and were involved in for those competencies. Is that similar to what a flipped classroom might look like? Are you familiar with flipped classroom?
There are opportunities for the classrooms within the online academic learning that they do. So there's a slide where I showed the video of one of the colleagues that has flipped learning within it, but the apprenticeship side of it with the experiential stuff. We do get them to present to us once a year, which is really useful. But most of that learning is, so most of the contact is sat once with meetings and a bit of correspondence about writing their reflective accounts, providing evidence about what they're doing.
I think the big thing to me, maybe haven't really explained it that well to start with, that it's actually a full-time job they have with 1 day a week saved for their studies. So they do four days a week in the actual workplace, doing a full-time job, but they're also doing the full degree at the same time. And that's what makes this really special, really challenging for the students to do it, but gives a much richer learning at the end of it all.
So thank you for sharing that. I'm currently trying to create an apprenticeship program at my school, but it's in a different field, right? Because in education, we have a serious shortage of teachers, right? But some of the challenges that we're running into is finding a partner, right? And so this whole apprenticeship has just been a labor of love, right? And I wonder if you have experienced the same thing, and also how difficult is it for you to get the apprenticeship off the ground or to get partners to partner with you?
At the start, so my job years ago, pre-COVID, normal times, was to really try and get employers interested in the program. And that was difficult because they didn't know exactly what it was. Some employers got on board straight away. They understood that it was similar to things that existed in the past, where we work through the week and on a Friday we come to school or college. It was challenging for us to say, well, it's online learning and we still have Friday off, but we're supposed to do the structured online learning. And we'll give them credits for what they're doing in the workplace. So but don't worry, we'll deal with that side. You know, it's quite tricky to get that across. My job now has changed to more explaining what the program is and trying to get the right candidates. So mathematics is something we really strong with. So the job has changed from persuading people to come to explain what it is and making sure they're sending the right. So it's hard to get off the ground, but if it works, then they do sort of naturally build up through word of mouth.
Thank you.
You need someone to come to California to have
We have several different programs that run graduate apprenticeship schemes in University of Strathclyde. So we would probably the fourth or fifth area that sort of started it up.
something like that.
Yeah, so there's a number of other faculties within the university that have graduate apprenticeship programs, and that's probably something that's worthwhile having a longer conversation with you about.
Any other question? Yes, please.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm sorry, thank you for the presentation. I was getting into what you're talking about, but let's say it's fine. I was curious, the range of apprenticeships, I mean, the fields of profession, I mean, are they widespread? And also, are they contained mainly in the Glasgow area, or are there options for doing it to more remote distance?
UK is quite complicated, so there's lots of different apprenticeship standards in England. But the Scottish education is an evolved thing for the Scottish Parliament, so we have quite a few apprenticeship standards that are across different fields. They're mostly kind of sciencey, technology based, but there is one in business management, and a few in IT software development, cybersecurity, that whole thing. But in England, there's lots of standards. I think part of the problem we've got is they've created so many standards across so many different subjects that actually it's quite difficult to find people to provide it, universities to provide it, or colleges to provide it, and also the employers to get on board with it. So a small group of employers will set up a standard, and then lots of people want to do it as they vote. In engineering, it's a bit different because it already exists, and I imagine teacher training would be a similar field, in that this experiential learning idea does exist already, even pre-apprenticeship. So I hope that answers it. It's not easy to answer in the UK context because we have a small number in Scotland and a large number in England, so it's yeah. So I think
Anything else? Thank you very much for your presentation. It's very